Hello everyone, MilkChoco Guides here, and welcome to the Ultimate Invisible Guide. In this video, we'll be talking about the Invisible class by analyzing his stats and finding out in which circumstances he would be best to use. Let's do a little introduction of the character first. The Invisible is a class that offers unique abilities centered around stealth. This character can become invisible for a short duration, allowing players to sneak past enemies or position themselves advantageously without being detected. This ability makes the Invisible class particularly effective for ambushing opponents, capturing objectives, or escaping dangerous situations. Now, let's deep dive into this class. Here we have a list of his stats. Now, let's cover them one by one. The Invisible has 165 health points. It's the class with the least health points in the game, but in exchange, he has 37.5 points of speed, one of the highest in the game. Up here on the right, we can see a radar chart showing that the Invisible's positive stats are centered the most around speed and jump, which can be very useful for his ability. Now let's talk about his ability, the Invisibility Cloak. The Invisibility Cloak, as we mentioned in the introduction, makes our character go invisible for a short amount of time, which is about 8.5 seconds long. The countdown to use this skill is 18 seconds, which is high but not the highest, as for example, the shield takes 22 seconds to cool down. Now let's talk about his counter ability classes. The Karog and Plug are the worst enemies you can fight against, as their turrets can detect you even if you have the Invisibility Cloak on, and put you in dangerous situations as everyone will be able to see you. The only way you can save yourself from their turrets is to stay in a range where they can't detect you or wait until someone eliminates their turrets. Another thing you have to pay attention to is when you use your skill, no one must see you, as they will be able to shoot you or use their skill on you, which will make you waste your skill and probably die. From all of this, we can deduce that the Invisible is a class that needs a lot of patience, and if used with caution, it can be very lethal. Now that we covered everything about his stats, let's talk about some maps where he can be very useful in. We're going to focus on the Capture the Milk maps. As in all the other maps, the only purpose he serves is to surprise the enemy by killing them, without having them knowing of your presence. So, let's start with the first map. In this map, the path you have to follow is the following. Remember always that the cooldown isn't short, and these paths are, so make sure to stop occasionally to have the ability ready. When you get to this launch pad, use your skill as soon as you are on it, so that the enemy won't see you while you use it. The next thing to do is to take the milk and run for your life, and boom, milk in base. Now let's take a look at the second map's path. In this map, we will have to go directly to this mountain cave to wait for the cooldown. When our ability is almost ready, we'll need to go to this little house and use our skill inside of it. Then after taking the milk, we'll have to run and follow this path. An alternative to that path is this one, which is less guarded, but it's also a very good place to get killed by an enemy sniper. Now, let's take a look at the third one. I personally think this map has the shortest path, because as soon as you get there, you'll find a launch pad to get to the milk and go back to the tunnel, all of this in time before the cloak wears off. It doesn't matter in which tunnel you go, as the map is the same from both sides. And now let's look at the last map's path. In this map, we'll have to go in this covered passage and check the situation in the enemy base. Then, we'll have to take the milk and run to this launch pad. A lot of times here is very crowded, so don't forget to try dodging the bullets of the enemy by moving on the right and on the left. Now that we've also covered this part, let's get to the most interesting part, the tips and tricks. The Invisible is a fast class, but when you're not using your primary weapon, you should always remember to switch to your secondary weapon, as you will go even faster. Like, look at this, he's so fast, we literally have made in Korea gas prime. Anyway, let's get to the second tip. In many games, there's this thing called weapon switch, which consists in changing between two weapons constantly, resulting in deleting the animation. In the case of MilkChoco, when you walk with the weapon switch, Your footprints will not be shown. When you play with the invisible, your main objective is to surprise the enemy, so the best type of weapon to use would be either a very fast weapon or a heavy weapon to kill the enemy before he even realizes you're there. When you use the invisible, it's very useful to have a wheel leg in the squad. In fact, the wheel leg, when she uses her ability, applies a very good speed buff on all of the squad, including you. This duo, if coronated, can become unbeatable. If you are a player who doesn't use so much the milk grenade, you could try to use it more, or you can equip smoke grenades. Smoke grenades don't do any damage, but they expand for a very large area and blind you if you get inside their smoke area. This grenades could be useful, for example, in escaping a deadly situation, as they will create a spot where to use your ability. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions or want to make suggestions, feel free to write in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. And I'll see you with the next guide. MilkChoco guides out.